So, have you ever been asked a question, what's your budget? I don't know about you, but that literally annoys me. I hate when contractors or agencies specifically ask me what my budget is. Usually that makes me think like they're trying to get the most out of me. They're trying to see if I qualify to work with them. And frankly, I've actually learned that knowing your budget is a superpower, right? So like when you're getting into business, you want to know what are the different ways that you can spend money effectively. And the only way you can do that is by knowing your budget. So if you've had $5,000 to spend on launching your company, then you know that you probably shouldn't be spending $2,000 of it on the logo design. So I like to break business down into like product, marketing, and operations. And each of those like pillars actually needs a budget associated with them. And some of it you can like go a little more slim on, and others you need to like really make sure you're like allocating the right amount, because you don't want to mess up on that. And I would say the right amount is usually on marketing. You want to make sure like whatever you're spending on building your product, 3 times of that you're able to spend on marketing your product. Because if you have a really dope product and you can't tell anyone about it, then it doesn't mean anything. But what we're going to go over is like there's a couple things that you want to pay attention to when identifying your budget and understanding how to structure your company. So you want to understand your business life cycle, right? So like how long will it take you to go from idea to launch? Some type of companies, whether it's a product-based company or digital company, can take longer or shorter, right? As an example, if you're building a digital brand, you can do a lot of things to validate your project over the course of a weekend. However, if you're building like, let's say, a drink brand, then you need to go through formulation, manufacturing, et cetera, et cetera. Now there's some cheat codes, and we'll talk about that in another video altogether, where you can get like private labeling or like prototyping, but you know, those are like, you have to go through like an ideation period to understand, or discovery period to go understand like whether or not that's going to fit within the market that you're going after. But budgeting basics, right? You want to like, if you're going to spend something like $5,000 in your company, a really good practice would be incorporating a company and putting that money into your business bank account, applying for like potentially a credit card for your company, and like kind of starting the process of like using best practices when it comes to like business accounting. Another thing you want to do is identify like that budget within that corporate bank account. So like if you had $5,000, you could already think about a couple $100 just for incorporating process. Then you might want to think about your company in 3 pillars: product, operation, and marketing. I would lean or lead with product, because if you don't have a product, you don't have a company. Now, on the other hand, there's other methodologies that will basically tell you to like, don't focus on the product and just test the market, right? You could have a coming soon page. You could do some test marketing to see if you even can get people through a funnel, get your ideal customer from like an ad or a post on Instagram to then saying like, hey, I want to pre-order, I want to be put on a wait list to get your product. So it's interchangeable, and this is why we built the No Idea Left Behind community. So you can kind of like see other people's processes and even talk to them about it and identify what way would be best for you. I personally don't like to lead without at least an MVP of a product, because just because I could get someone's attention doesn't mean that they'll actually like the actual product that I'm like pulling out. So it's almost as if I was like on the street and I saw someone that looked thirsty and I said, hey, do you want a Gatorade? And then I was like, hey, but I'm putting you on a wait list. Hold on, I'll go get it and come back. That's just not the best way of approaching that, right? So there's some cases that it'll work and some cases that it won't work. But this leads to the next point: effectively communicating. So like whether it's like to partners, whether it's to subcontractors, agencies that you potentially want to work with, like being able to effectively communicate what your vision is, and more importantly, how your budget ties into that vision, is crucial. And you want to make sure that you're able to like really have like a good idea and we write it down and just like really like get into it, right? Of like, what are all the like components of like this business startup, and where should I be spending my cash? And then again, real life examples like success leaves clues. I like to do like a competition analysis on direct competitors, but also adjacent companies, and identify like what process did they go through, right? And literally just see how you can model them. And like once you've modeled them, their success, then you can iterate on it and then like incorporate your genius. So I hope this was helpful. The download will give you some like, checklist items that you're able to like go through to be able to identify your budget and be able to communicate effectively with contractors, agencies, and people you want to work with in general. So thank you.